Saki and Jen Longton. Any discussion? We do have Brenda Kane here to discuss the consideration of approval of the 2021-2022 external audit. Brenda, do you have anything to share with us?
Just that the audit committee just met and we're asking the board to approve the audit tonight.
Introduce Joe.
Oh, that's right. And Joe Hirsch is here from Bonadio, and he'll do a summary.
Good evening, everybody. Joe here. I'm a principal with the Bonadio Group. For those of you that don't know me, I'm responsible for overseeing the audit. As Brenda mentioned, we just did meet with the audit committee, went through some of the numbers. I'm just going to do a highlight of the key opinions, the key reports that are in there, and then review the required communication letter with the full board. Hopefully you have a copy of it, but I'll just share my screen real quick. Okay, so the scope of our services, we did an audit of the financial statements in accordance with government auditing standards. We also issued a report on internal controls and compliance in accordance with government auditing standards. We'll also be issuing an audit of the extra classroom activity funds in accordance with the cash basis, a little different than your financial statements. It's just cash in, cash out. And there's also a uniform guidance, used to be called the single audit of your federal program expenditures. And then, as I mentioned, a required communications letter that we send to all of our clients at the conclusion of our audit. So in summary, we anticipate issuing an unmodified opinion on the financial statements that the financial statements are presented fairly in accordance with GAAP upon board acceptance. This is the highest level of assurance we can give. We did not identify any material weaknesses in internal controls over the school district's financial reporting. We anticipate issuing an unmodified opinion on the extra classroom activity fund financial statements. And again, thanks to Brendan, the business office, and everybody else. It wasn't just the business. So we looked at school lunch. We looked at special aid fund this year as part of the single audit. So it was more than just the business office that helped us get through the audit. The required communications letter, I'll just hit the highlights of that. New accounting pronouncement this year, GASB 87 pertaining to leases was implemented. Last year was GASB 84. I don't think there's anything new for 22-23 coming down this year. So it should be a straightforward letter next year. There were no transactions for which there was a lack of authoritative guidance or consensus, and all significant transactions have been recognized in the proper period. Your most sensitive accounting estimates, compensated absences, depreciable lives of capital assets and leased assets, other post-employment benefits obligation, and the net pension asset and liability and the related deferred outflows and inflows related to the net pension asset. All estimates were evaluated and considered reasonable, and there were no significant difficulties in performing the audit or dealing with management, no material audit adjustments, no disagreements with management, and we are not aware that management consulted with other accountants. And our discussions with management were in the normal course of our professional relationship, and our responses were not a condition of our retention. Pretty standard language in that letter. Like I said, it goes to all of the audit clients at the conclusion. The government auditing standards report, the yellow book report, we call it, that's towards the back. We anticipate issuing the following report. No material weaknesses or significant deficiencies, no instances of non-compliance material to the financial statements. Everybody asks, well, what's non-compliance? For the purpose of this report, if your fund balance exceeded the 4% limit that's imposed by New York State, that would be in this report. Yours does not. You're right at 4%, so you're managing your reserves and your fund balance to keep that in compliance with New York State law. Oops, skipped. And then the uniform guidance, the single audit. Again, no material weaknesses or significant deficiencies in the programs we tested. No compliance findings for those programs. The programs we tested, the Education Stabilization Fund and the Child Nutrition Cluster. Education Stabilization Fund, pretty substantial this year. Your federal expenditures in total were $4.9 million. But again, no findings, no issues with the uniform guidance. And that's it. And I'll just add, these are drafts that you all have. I mentioned to the audit committee, our QC review is done. Our final proof is done. I made those changes today. So I'll send the rep letters to Chris and Brenda tomorrow. So once we get those back, these will be issued final tomorrow or Friday. So we're in good shape with that. Questions?
Thank you, Joe. Does anyone have any questions?
Just, Brenda, so once you'll give me what I need to certify in the portal.
Yes.
That's the 15th, I believe, right?
Yes.
Keep getting emails from
Yeah,
state
exactly.
reminding me about it, so.
It's not due till the 15th. So
Right, I know.
like we missed it.
Chris, do you have anything to add?
All I wanted to add is thank you to Joe for your hard work and the efforts of the auditing team that came in here and did this. But I also just want to say a particular thank you to Brenda Kane for her leadership and for the team that
It's for the
really
team too.
really goes
It's a
above
really
and
great team.
the team goes above and beyond every year. There's a lot of hard work and effort that goes into this audit. And I think, Joe, one of the things we take pride in is we tend to be a very easy client for you because our folks usually have everything set, ready to go. And that comes with years of experience of knowing what you're looking for, preparing it for you, and putting it all together. So they're a great staff and they work very hard to make this a very smooth process. So I did want to take a chance to publicly thank them in addition to thanking Joe and his team for their efforts as well.
Absolutely. They make the audit go very smoothly. It's nice to have clients that know what we want and just put it right there for us to come in and get in and out so we don't bother you too much. But
I don't get a chance to publicly recognize them often. This is the time of the year I get to say good things about Brenda and her team. So I just wanted to mention that. So thank you, Joe.
Thank you, Joe.
thank you. Have a good night.
Take care. Two other things on the consent agenda, just recognizing both Saratoga County and partnership with Saratoga County and Town of Glenville with our school resource officers. We're going to be renewing, you'll be renewing their contracts for another year. Cody Maggs from Glenville and Zach Sicardi from Saratoga, just a huge addition to the staff in so many different ways that they help our students. They work well together. They train constantly. They provide security advice. They're just really a huge asset to this organization. We appreciate the partnership with the town and the county.
And they're excited to be here.
I love it.
Oh, I just saw them outside the other morning with a forgotten item with their lights and their sirens going, and it sounded like they were having a party over there.
To a criminal justice class.
I have to take a look.
One other comment on the consent agenda, just the mental health training component reviewed by New York State, that was interesting. We talked a little bit about it before. It was a great response on the part of the district to that report. I think, took the time to really go down through what, and describe what, what the situation and conditions were. And so that was a really good and comprehensive response to that report. Made it very understandable.
I agree, it was good. Okay, so we're gonna take a vote?
I just have a quick
Oh,
question,
sure.
because I'm new to it. Why do we have one from Saratoga County and one from the town? Is there any particular reason?
Politics.
Well, so
We have
Okay, that's all I need to know.
we're about half and half in the two counties. All of our Schenectady County is Town of Glenville and is governed by the Town of Glenville. So Saratoga County came to the districts a few years back and said, look, we're willing to put school resource officers in every single Saratoga County district. If you'd like, here's the contract. We worked it out. So that started a couple years ago. Meanwhile, Chief Janet came and said, the other half of the district, having somebody there, we'd love to be part of that. We were kind of feeling that having two people to cover our two different counties. And then what we did was Sheriff Zerlo and Chief Janet created a mutual aid agreement so that both can police across the borders as long as it's inside the complex of the district. So just kind of worked out to be almost just a perfect match. Yeah.
No, that's a
Perfect
great
match.
question.
It's always good
It's
to
a
hear.
great
Yeah.
program.
John's answer.
I'm just curious. I only want to meet, but then when I hear
Reasonable,
these here
too.
talking, okay.
Right.
Yeah.
No, that's good. And I've said this before, so I'll just say it again. We were kidding when we got Zach in that we were going to go with Glenville as well and get a second resource officer. So, well, we just need another Zach, and lo and behold, we got one. So, just two tremendous
And
individuals.
it came with
glad
when,
to see him
as
around.
Phil retired, we kind of repurposed his salary to go towards the contract with Glenville. So it was really relatively low cost to be able to get that second officer full time.
Mary, do you have any thoughts about our SROs?
They're really great. I know Zach's here, I think at the high school the most, I see him the most. I drive in the morning
and he's with Mr. Bunsen, like shaking people's hands every morning. And then I see him at sporting events and stuff, so they're all over the place and they're great, so it's good to have.
I would say the
Yes, no.
SROs are the beat cop of the 21st century, you know, that, you know, off the road alley, sending you home, you know, to get your dinner or whatever. That's what the SROs are like. They really are.
It's great. Mary doesn't get that reference, by the way.
Yes.
Yes, I wasn't going to point that out. but it's all right.
All right, go search. Yeah.
All right, so you want to take a vote? All in favor?
Do we have a
Aye.
motion?
Yes.
Motion.
We already did motion before.
All
All opposed?
No.
Motion carries. It's Jen and Dave again? Okay. On to the action items. Oops. Special ed, no, just
Thank you, Ms.
consideration of approval of recommendations for the Committee on Special Education. Can I get a motion? So moved.
Second.
Who's that?
Don.
Don? Any discussion?
Just again, not to repeat this too many times, but it can't help but be impressed with how many students with special needs have those needs addressed by this district. The detailed response to the specific needs and the volume of those needs is very impressive. That we have people who have, you know, down the weeds, getting into the details, how to make, you know, some of our more vulnerable students able to receive an appropriate education in this district is very impressive. We do an awful lot for an awful lot of those students. And I know we have a staff. It can be challenging. It's complicated. It's political sometimes. But the way we're able to identify and then meet the needs of some of those students is extremely impressive. Really is.
I would agree. We remember that graph we saw a while back. Chris showed us that the needs are going up all the time.
Especially since COVID.
I was just gonna ask, this is just a flyer of a question. Do we know, are our numbers of identified service students, like, as expected, you know, kind of coming, I mean, what we expected today, like, you know, in this year, are they up? Do we kind of, and I didn't ask this ahead of time, so just,
No, it's a good question.
Soft question.
It's drifted from somewhere around 15% of our population to upwards of 18% right now. So it's, you know, it's needs are there.
Good. That's putting, if you remember, we talked a little bit before that required some more out-of-district placements, which puts some strain on transportation. I mean, there's
Right.
definitely more, and we're seeing more, I think, in many ways.
All right, so we want a motion to accept the recommendations?
so moved. Oh, we already did that.
Oh, we did. Yes,
that.
we did.
We're voting.
Anyone, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? So moved. Discussion items, hopefully everyone, Jen, this is yours. Has gotten,
You want Mary to copy it?
oh, yeah, sure.
I just shared the electronic version of this with everybody as well.
Thank you, Brenda.
Thanks.
Have a good night,
Brenda.
Brenda.
So these are just my thoughts that I wrote down in my notes, from these graphs that were shared with us at our board retreat. If you all want to take, and next time we can, dive deep into them and take a look at them and add to them and email me whatever additions you want, and I can put it in. This is just a beginning. This is not final. So if anyone has any, thoughts,
And
happy
then
to add.
Then the goal would be to use some of these to identify areas where we would put together some board
Some goals, yes, exactly.
We
It's a
thought,
great idea.
as long as we're a little bit behind schedule anyway on the board self-evaluation, and we did the retreat, which got at really the same thing. Where did the board members identify things that need attention and what are things going well? So the higher the red bar, the more attention people thought that needed. And then Lisa put some of her comments. I just threw it all together into a document with the slides from the retreat. And then we thought we could just, spend some time at the next meeting, basically taking notes on the conversation and filling this out. Maybe you might want to do some, if you send stuff to Lisa.
Yeah, if
different
they send it
areas.
to me, I'll try and, put it in some conversational form. And now, we have reports and communications. Chris, did you want to begin?
You want the fun one first or the two business ones first?
I always go for fun, let's go
Fun
for
first, I
fun.
just wanted to give credit. Patrick and I were at Woodburn for the before homecoming Friday night with the kids. And I just wanted to comment on what a well-run event it was, how much fun it was to see the kids in that environment. I think Patrick became the fire tender by default. I think he kept the 4 different fire pits that
Especially
were out
when
there
the fire
going.
siren went off and all the trucks went screaming away to a real fire.
Yes, I saw them leaving when I
It's
came.
lucky
yes.
charge.
The student bands were great. I mean, the stuff the kids were selling were great. I think the Nerd Club, which is what the name of the club, that's what they call the club, actually had an event inside the gym. It was really well done. It was great to see the kids out enjoying themselves, and it was largely problem-free. It was just a fun night to be there, and I'm glad I had the opportunity to attend. My youngest daughter, who was there, I had to pretend that I was not related to her. Other than that, it was perfect.
It's not that young,
It's the joys of having a 9th and 10th grader now, I guess. But I just wanted to mention that it was a great night. It was a great activity with the kids. 2 other quick things for the board. One of the things I wanted to let you know, we're having some strain on our transportation system, as I've communicated. To date, we've been able to avoid what other districts have had to do and cancel any type of bus runs or anything like that. We're still in full operation, but we do not have as many substitute or unassigned bus drivers as we would normally have, which means any type of sickness is going to put us in a pretty tough position. To that end, we're trying 2 different strategies. Just want to let the board know about. In law, there are provisions for something called volunteer bus drivers or occasional bus drivers. These are folks that do not need a CDL to drive students, but they can only drive a vehicle that does not require a commercial driver's license. An example of how we utilized this recently is gentleman Sean Klein, who was the girls' golf coach. There were four students on the girls' golf team. For several instances where we could not secure a bus, he was able to take them in one of the school minivans to their practice there, and we had him appointed as a volunteer bus driver after we consulted with council to that extent. We're also looking into possibly some other situations where an occasional bus driver or a volunteer bus driver may be useful to help take that strain off of our transportation system. It's not something that we go to as our first choice, obviously, but in consultation with Mr. Fitzgerald, we did see there are some instances where volunteer and occasional bus drivers can be utilized, and we're looking at that where it's appropriate and applicable. So just wanted to let you know.
They can't drive the full-size school buses?
The only thing they can really drive are the school minivans. And
So what's the seat?
what
What's
the
the max? Is it max of like 8 passenger or?
It's not necessarily based on passenger. I believe there's a gross vehicle weight that applies to what you can drive with a Class D license before you get a
So
Class
the
D.
difference of what we have, so not small bus.
They can't even drive the small bus, no. It's not the small
Well,
bus.
you can
it's not
drive up
the-
to like a Suburban if you care.
a
Yeah, if you could get
Suburban
9 in it,
or a
probably.
minivan. And we're at the next board meeting, as I put in updates from Chris, we did receive a response to the bid. We got nothing for minivans again, but we did receive a response to the midsize SUVs. So they could drive those as well once we get those vehicles. So those are the types of things they could do. And that's not our first choice. It never is our first choice, but it does help relieve some strain on the transportation system where it's allowable by law. So we did want to let you know that was in play.
Just a quick question on the minivan thing, not that it makes much difference, but there are minivans available, right? Honda still makes a minivan, right? Chrysler still makes a minivan.
They're just not bidding on, they don't like the school district, they're not bidding on our process when we advertise them. We put it in the paper, we actually put it on the website, we send it out to all the different dealers in the area, and they just don't seem to be interested in bidding on minivans. They may still make them, I don't know if they have them on the lot.
Yes,
now.
line demand right
Is really what it comes down to. This is the 3rd time we've gone out to bid for minivans and we've got nothing.
Even went to like Honda, for example, I mean,
Well, they don't need to unload them, that's the issue.
Right. They get more money probably by selling
They
them
don't need to
at
just
retail
unload
rate.
them for bidding. You know what I mean?
they can get more money from it, in other words.
Yeah, there's
But why
a high
not,
demand for them right now,
but to Don's
especially
point,
minivans.
Why not put in a bid, even if it's for what they would get from a private citizen? I mean, they don't care who buys it. They
Because
just
they're
want to get
ordering
the
them.
price, right?
I'm sorry, they don't even have any, and I know this because I've been shopping.
As
As
do
do
I.
clients.
No,
so-
no minivans available.
There's,
Not
not
gonna
gonna have to order them, and some of them take like 6-8 months to get here.
And we can't
Yeah.
wait that long. We, in our bid
No, you can't
specifications,
wait that
we want them, we need them.
Yeah, yeah.
And do they have to be new or can they be used?
They have to be new because the bidding
Ah.
process, bidding process gets a little tough when,
Right.
the reason you could bid for a certain item and it also has to say it's substantially equivalent because we can't say we want one thing, we have to give everybody a chance. And it becomes very difficult for us to rate one used vehicle versus another when they come in. So we generally do new. That doesn't mean we couldn't do used, it's just a
Because
much more complicated
Jen and I both
process.
have used minivans we might be willing to bid. Is that
There's a high demand, so
You
people
do.
want
Yeah,
it.
wow.
right?
July 1st, we'll talk.
I'll even volunteer to be driving.
July 1st,
Be any
we'll talk.
different.
You know, but we did get a response to the mid-size SUVs, which will also serve that purpose. So that is good. That's how we're planning on moving forward right now. And I think it's a little easier to get the SUVs at this point than it is the minivans.
It doesn't change the function of the need that we have as far as.
Well, before we decided, I mean, we've never done the mid-size SUVs before, but we had a long conversation with the folks at transportation. We talked to special services. We talked to everybody involved, and they're saying that the parameters they meet the parameters we need for the kids. The vans are always a touch easier because it's the sliding door. It's a little easier getting in and out.
Yeah,
but
they're
they're
lower.
confident that they can make the SUVs work. And the problem we have right now is that Suburban, one of them, they get broken down like 3 times now out front of the district. We have more out of district placements. We just can't hold out any longer. We have to pull the trigger on something. So we're still gonna paint them in the room. We're still gonna put the Spartan logo on them, but they're coming shortly.
Christian, you bid out any of your, out-of-district kids' placements, or do you service all the kids yourself?
Wow, that's a great segue, Dave. Thank you. That's my next one is contract transportation. For the 2021-2022 school year, because of the critical shortage of drivers we had, we did contract out with Upstate Transit for all of our out-of-district routes, both the ones to private schools and the ones to the special education placements. We also utilized Brown Transportation for all of our athletics routes. Beginning this year, we actually decided we didn't need to continue that contract because it was very expensive and we had our buses sitting here on the lot. Because we had done enough of a recruitment effort, I mean, this board, a lot of strategies we used to help recruit and retain bus drivers worked, and we were at a good staffing level. Unfortunately, we got hit this year early with probably a total of 6 students who are McKinney-Vento eligible, which means they're homeless and we have to transport them. And we also had an expansion of some special education runs. David, you're well. One of the things that happens is that sometimes students may not be meeting with as much success as we'd like them to in a particular placement. And when another school comes in and says, well, we have a slot for you, our special services department will jump on it. Well, the problem is, well, we don't have a bus going there now, so we've got to find a way to get one there. Now, obviously, that takes another vehicle, another driver. So we're in the situation where we're tight. We may have to look at contracting again, which is where we're looking at.
The other thing a lot of schools are doing at my place is that they're carpooling.
Yeah.
But I don't know how that would work for you, but for some of the schools up north that are coming down to my place, they are picking kids up on their way and.
One of the vehicles?
No, school vehicles, yeah, like,
Oh, yeah, sure.
Glens Falls is picking up Hudson Falls kids, or
We've done that.
Granville's picking up, 48 kids. I'm just trying to be creative to go outside the box.
It's a great idea, and where that is logical and successful, we've utilized that. For instance, we found that Scotia Glenville, sometimes, they may not be this year, I'd have to check, but they used to take their kids to Saratoga Votech, which meant they were driving right by our high school to get to Saratoga Votech. So we made a deal with them, just drop your kids off here at Burnt Hills High School. We'll take them the rest of the way, and then you can repurpose that bus for your routes. And sometimes when we're going south, if we're going to ground school in Schenectady, or somewhere like that for a private placement, we'll do the same for Scotia Glenville or for this unit where it's appropriate. That we've utilized that to a great degree, and we're going to continue to do it where it's appropriate. So that's another great strategy. We also pay parents. If the first thing we say is we will cut 62.5 cents a mile if you'll transport your own child to one of these out-of-district placements. And some people have the capability of doing that, some don't. But I think at this point we're pulling every arrow out of our quiver we can. And we're in better shape than our neighbors. We're not.
And
So
we're not
far,
successful
we wanna
with
keep-
our retarees,
Well, we did not have anybody
or
retire this year.
occasional, or,
We did, some of our folks, that's
Trying everything.
the first group we reached out to was our recent retirees. Would you like to drive for us again? And I think they've indicated to us they very much enjoy retirement.
Sleeping in on those winter days.
When you think about bus driver hours, they're not the best. You got to be up and on the road by 6 o'clock in the morning, and then you got to come back for the afternoon. So it's so that we did. That was the first thing we did for this latest run that came up. Is we looked to one of our recent retirees and are interested in. He said, "Thank you, but I'm interested in being retired." That was how that
I'm
went.
loving retirement.
So we just wanted to let the board know we're on those efforts. If you see something in the future regarding contract transportation, we'll keep you posted. There may not even be an availability. It is, and it's what's sad about that to me, Dave, is we have a lot of times buses sitting right here, and then we've got to use somebody else's buses to do it. But we are.
I have so many that are contracting out that are coming to the Hill right now. They're not being transferred by the district because they just don't have transportation. They don't have drivers.
So we like sending kids to Oakland because that's easy
I
for
know.
us.
And Charlton.
Charlton School as well. Those are very easy for us. St. Coleman's is tough. Some of the Brown School. Saratoga Catholic, those are tougher ones to get to for us.
All right,
But that's
so-
all I had. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Tara, did you want to join us, or did you have anything to share with us?
Nope, you all have invitations to the grand opening of the
Thank you.
It's already in my calendar and I cannot wait.
Fantastic.
Mary?
I just thought that I would share that, as mentioned at the start of my time as student rep, I wanted to focus on the mental health of the student body. And thanks to Mr. Brunson, I had the opportunity to design and assemble a bulletin board to promote the Wellness Center. And it's right across the hall from the Wellness Center near Mr. Brunson's office. And then the pep rally, Woodburn, and homecoming were great, and students seemed to really enjoy their time being there. And clubs seemed to be really successful with what they were selling, like at their stands. So it was really fun.
Thank you. Jake, nothing? Jen?
I went to the homecoming, which was nice. And I did see Zach there and Cody, is that his name? And then Zach did make a funny comment. So I said, we were talking and everyone, was saying hi to everybody. And it's really always about the relationship. So that was really nice. But then he said, I told my wife I'll see her in December.
How'd that go?
So, that showed the passion and the dedication and, so it just makes our school even that much better.
Yeah, he said something similar. I forget what day it was. Mary and I saw him, and he said the same thing.
Yeah,
we might have been leaving a meeting or something. Ran into him. He says, "Yeah, just going home to see my kids now." And I forget it was after dinner hours. And
Yeah. And I said,
Those
well, I
guys
should
are
get some
fun.
gold stars.
Careful about
We're
some
nice guys.
priorities, though.
Yeah.
Dave, did you
Your
have
job's
anything for
important.
us? Good, Patrick?
The only comment I'll make for the good of the order is so people know I have, of course, notified the PTAs and other groups when I've gone out that we're taking feedback about the naming of the transportation center. And, I won't get into the details of the stories here. There's no need to do that. But just to let everyone know, the feedback has been, I've been hearing stories about Joe from across the district that I wouldn't have known otherwise. So really a lot of support that I'm hearing for that. And I have one email that I need to share with the full board. I checked. Kind of odd, isn't it? Because everything's spoilable anyway, but you still want to check. His parents don't realize that. And someone shared a very, very kind, detailed email about Joe and his support of their family, which I will share with the board. So just want everyone to know that and let you know that email will be coming. But it's really, really unfortunate. I always liked Joe. He's got on very well. Really good class act, right? But my gosh, when we start hearing these things and stories from across the district, it's such a tragic loss. So I'll share that email with everyone. And otherwise, I've been at most of these events as well. They're all very well run. And so kudos to the district. And to Mrs. Summersouth, I think she bought a whole load of kids pizza at one of those events. And so Kate wouldn't have eaten for about 14 hours if it wasn't for her. So good job by the entire district on those. That's all I got.
I'm good.
Just a reminder, October 17th is Taste of Burn Hills, and October 19th is the Rotary Dinner, so 2 days that week, no cooking for me next week.
Both being done by Spartan Catering.
Yes, and I appreciate that too. Patrick, did you have
So just
anything?
a little more detail on the grand opening for the auditorium. It's a re-grand opening or rededication. The person who the auditorium was originally named after is Arthur Mengel. And you'll see his name on the plaque out in the lobby here at the high school. He was a board member from 1932 to 1954. He was kind of one of the biggest figures in the district during that middle time after the beginning of the district and Frank Stevens. And then before Dr. O'Rourke came in like the 60s and 70s, he was in that middle 40s and 50s. He was really inspirational at getting this building built. So and then he tragically passed away right after this building opened up suddenly. They named the auditorium after him. We were able to find the actual dedication speech that was given that day and the original plaque that was on the wall for the auditorium. So we're just kind of in recognition of the fact that the district honors and values its heritage and its history, rather than like, oh, it's 2022, let's open up a new auditorium with a new name. No, it was named that people gave some deliberate thought to what some of our facilities were named. So we'll talk about Mr. Mengel. We've reached out to his family. His great grandson has been in communication with me as well as a number of other people in his family. And so we'll have some nice, just some nice connections. It's going to be a ribbon cutting in the lobby, sort of like we did with the STEAM edition with the stage and the ribbon cutting there. We've invited Mary Beth Walsh and Senator Tedesco, asking them to be here with us. I don't know if they've gotten back to Terry yet, but hopefully they will be right before election season. And it'll be a good opportunity to show some
Not a cynical comment,
No,
wasn't
I mean, it's a
supposed to
good
be here anyway.
opportunity, right?
Everybody knows
It's a great, and it'll be a nice event. We'll have some, and the board, I'd love to have anyone who's here to be up front, and we'll open up the auditorium with a ribbon cutting and then a concert right after that with all of our select groups inside of the auditorium. Open the doors and let everybody go in for the first time and see the space. So it's beautiful. It's incredible. It's got to be one of the as nice a theater as we have in the Capital Region, honestly, from a technical and an aesthetic point of view. So really
We'll be
excited
live
about it.
streaming it too. The grand opening will be live streamed, so.
Right, yeah,
People
right.
who can't make it.
Excellent.
They can watch 6:30.
And also, again, just to reiterate what Mary and others said, the whole homecoming weekend was awesome, and the district it just looked awesome out there. We had 1,000+ people out in the stands and on a beautiful fall day. A great time, and just appreciate all the hard work that the SPO put in and the high school staff to get that to happen. That's all. Thanks.
Thank you. So I believe at this time we need a motion to re-enter executive session.
So moved.
Second.
Dave Persaki, Jen Longton. And we will thank everyone else for coming. Oh, we got to vote on it?
Yep.
Let's vote.
Aye.
All in favor, aye?
Stay.
So moved.
Somebody would like to get into
So Mike
Andrew, we're
Dunn-
all set.
Oh, really?